So there's been a few times we've had messages on Facebook or even people come up to us in the paddock asking us questions on how do we get started, what do we need to do, what do we need to do to these cars to get them ready. We usually end up having a big long discussion with them, and we're all for it. We love talking to people inside the paddock. So I said, if there's any more people who haven't come up to us or haven't come to us on Facebook, so I'll put this video together as a kind of a quick overview of what you need to do. I will also include other things of interest, like any of the regulations for the cars, any little license stuff. I'll try and keep as much of that in the description down below on YouTube, just so you have all the links and stuff there for you all in one place. There's three main things you need to get. First one is your license. Without that you cannot compete. The second thing you need then is all your safety gear, so everything that you're wearing on the day in the car. You need to get all that, that's all a requirement. And then of course the last thing you need to race well is a car. So the first thing we'll go over is actually the license. All the license stuff can be done online these days, and it's all relatively straightforward. I'm going at this from the rallycross point of view. If you want to do the ICCR, the normal circuit racing and stuff with the Fiestas, there's a couple of extra steps. If you want to do that, you have to get the starter pack from Motorsport Ireland. You can go onto the Motorsport Ireland website and you can apply for that. They'll send you a starter pack. There's a form in it and a reference number and stuff like that. The reference number then you can use to go to Mondello and apply for the Introduction to Circuit Racing course. It's a one-day course taking place in Mondello, and a lot of it is self-explanatory, and they're just basically going through any of the safety stuff with you, all the flags, and they'll take you out on the track just to make sure you can actually drive a car and that you will be safe. As far as the rallycross, you don't need to do that. I'll show you as we're going through the license where you need to do different things. So the first thing obviously you need to do is go onto Motorsport Ireland's website and you need to create an account. You just see member login up here in the top right. Go into that. The next step after that then is create MI member account. First screen here is just basically putting in your own information. That's all down to you. This affiliate club, I'll come back over that in a second. So we'll just go through this and we'll fill out some things. I apologise, Motorsport Ireland are making a fake account. Just to show this, click save. So then we're on to our membership page. From here then we'll click competition license application. So verify all your information is correct. Upload a profile picture. Profile picture that you upload to this will be the one that will be used on your license. Best way to do it is stand in front of a white wall, take a picture with your phone in portrait mode, upload that one to it. When I mentioned about affiliate club, this is where this part comes in. If you are not part of a motorsport club in Ireland, they do have it on this page here, find a club. So you can find a motorsport club that is close to you. If not, Mondello Park actually have their own club and it only actually costs about €10 for the year. This can be done online or by actually ringing Mondello's office themselves and they'll point you in the right direction of how to get that sorted. That will end up saving you €240 in the long run, as the non-member supplement is €250. So that €10 membership fee doesn't sound too bad. On to the next page of the license application. So for the rallycross we actually use the speed license. So you're going down here onto this one drop down menu and you're selecting National B. If you do plan on doing the ICCR events, you're going to be going in the race and National B there. But as I said earlier, for this one you need to have the Introduction to Circuit Racing course done in Mondello Park. And once you have that done and they'll give you proof, you upload it and you can push it into this box here. So here on the next page is just a declaration. You're just kind of going agreeing with this and dating it. What this basically is just that you're saying that you're agreeing to all the rules and regulations, like competition rules, Irish anti-doping rules, any of the other rules set out by Motorsport Ireland, that you're going to agree with them. Then on to the next page, they're looking for your doctor's information. So if you're applying for a license for the first time, you will need to get a doctor's cert. This can be downloaded here on the website, printed out and brought into your doctor. They'll do a medical examination with you to make sure you're healthy enough to go racing. This only needs to be done for your first time applying for your license or until you reach the age of 45. After that it will need to be done every year. So once you have your doctor's cert then you can upload it here on this part. Then we come on to the payment card. As you can see down here, the license then for National B is €115 at the time of recording this, added to cart. There is also a discount when it is your first time license, and if we're not a member of any motorsport club, we unfortunately have to add this one in here. We hit finish and it'll just bring us to the payment screen where you can just finish it off. And then you'll be sent out an email confirmation and that's your license sorted. Right, so on to the next part, and that's your safety gear. Your safety gear, there is a lot of pieces to this. Starting from the head down, you have your helmet, your hands device, your full-on racing suit overalls, You'll have your gloves, your boots, and then there's underwear underneath all that as well. When it comes to safety gear, do yourself a massive favour, don't buy second hand. These items are your last line of protection in the event of an incident. While the items you were looking at second hand might be still in date and might have the right approvals from the FIA, they could be well worn, damaged, and not protect you properly in an incident. There's a reason these things are mandatory. The suit, underwear, gloves and boots will protect you in the event of a fire and give you extra time you need to make your escape from the vehicle. The greatest example of this, of course, is Roman Grosjean's crash in Bahrain. His suit that day was actually part of the latest specification set out by FIA. His Alpine Star suit that day actually gave him 29 seconds of protection rather than the 12 minimum set out by the FIA. So it shows you really do not want to skimp on these things. Your helmet then will obviously protect you from any impact to your head, where even a small impact in certain spots can prove to be fatal. Keep your helmet safe at all times, as even the smallest impact can deem them unsafe. So even if you drop it, it may cause a crack, any damage to the helmet, and that's it. A scrutineer will check your helmet's condition before each round, and if they find any damage, they may not let you use that helmet again, and sometimes are even cutting the straps to prevent them from being used again. Attached to your helmet then is your head restraint device. While there is a few different types of these now, the hands device is the original and the most common, hands standing for head and neck support. These limit the amount of movement your head can make in the event of a sudden stop or impact, reducing the chances of any head or neck injuries like whiplash. If you do decide to go second hand, make sure it has all the right approval and is still valid. The current accepted approvals for suit and helmet can be found on the FIA website, but I personally don't recommend it. Buy new and buy the best that you can with your budget, and it will last you a long time. FIA approvals for club level motorsport take a while to go out of date. If you go into the likes of Murray Motorsport, you're not to worry too much about the FIA approvals, as they will advise you in accordance with your needs and your budget. They do regularly have starter kit offers, and you can buy all the gear in one bundle. Same with the helmet, take into consideration what you may do in the future. If you plan on doing open seater like the Formula V or Formula Shane, there's no point buying an open face helmet, you're going to need a closed face helmet for that one. Now we come on to the fun part, and that's the car. So if you're getting started in rallycross or circuit racing, the most affordable way to get into it is of course the Fiesta class. These Fiestas are a very affordable way to get into motorsport and can be used in numerous different ways. Of course, we use them for the rallycross. They can also be used in the ICCR. They have their own class there. You have the endurance race then at the end of the year, and they can also be used in rally sprints and hill climbs as well. There's 3 ways to go about it. You can rent them, you can buy one, or you can build one. At the time of recording this, there was actually one on Dundee for roughly about 3,500. This is about the same value I paid for mine back in 2017, so even if it was kept in one piece, you can generally hold on to your money if you decide to move on again. While the Fiestas are basically a production class, there is a number of things that you need to do. The full regulations I will attach below in the thing, but I'll give you a quick rundown on the jobs that need to be done. So interior wise, you need to remove all interior items, like all the panels, the door cards, the headliners and stuff like that, except for the dash. You need to put in a door card on the driver's side of material that's obviously not flammable. This is to stop your hand from getting caught up in the paneling inside it. You're obviously going to need a roll cage. You can buy bolt-in ones, you still need to weld in the platforms for them to actually bolt into, or you can get a custom welding gauge. There's a few companies around the country that do these. You'll need a circuit breaker as well. This is in case of emergency, that you will have a cut off on the dash that you can knock off all the power in the car. This will also be attached to one outside the car, so in the event of an accident a marshal can pull this. There will also be a similar pull cord for the fire extinguisher, which is another thing you need. When it comes to the fire extinguisher, just be very careful. There is a few cheaper options out there, but they cannot be filled here in Ireland. They'll have to be sent back to the manufacturer to do that, and the cost of that is nearly the price of a new fire extinguisher. So when you're buying a fire extinguisher, actually check it with who you're buying it from. Can it be refilled here? Can they even do it? And hopefully save you enough money in the long run. Ask me how I know. Your steering lock needs to be removed. You obviously need a racing seat and a harness as well. Make sure these are in date or in good condition as well. If you have a sunroof in the car, this needs to be sheeted over. Even just putting a sheet up on top, rivet it down and put some sealer around there. You do not want water coming in on a cold day. It's horrible. The dash needs to remain fitted, but can be modified to aid cage fitting if you want to get your cage as far forward as possible. The heater needs to remain and be functional. Air conditioning can be rendered inoperable, and no extra gauges and no data log. When it comes to the engine, there is no modifications, additions to the engine at all. You may skim the head if needed, but cannot exceed the compression ratio of 11.0 to 1. When it comes to the exhaust, the factory cap must remain, but it can be hollowed out. The rest of the exhaust then is free, so straight piper all the way to the back. The standard ECU has to remain, but recommend putting it into a more accessible location. race and stewards on the day can decide if they want you to change an ECU or if they think it has been modified in any way. Same with any suspension or anything like that. They can decide on the day where they want you to change to one of their own ones that they have with them. When it comes to the electrics then, of course you need the cut-off switch that I mentioned earlier. The headlights, brake lights and fog lights must work. For Rallycross then, add some high level lights for the brakes and also a rain light. The rain light we just wired into the existing fog light, and they're all positioned across the top, and they're LED lights that we just bought cheap from Halfords. The battery can be changed for a competition battery. It can also be moved into the interior of the car, but must be in a secure sealed box. When it comes to brakes, tyres and suspension, brake material can be competition friction material, so brake pads you can get competition spec ones of them. We actually use the Ferrado, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, Ferrado 2500. You can also use braided brake lines as well. They stand a bit more punishment and actually give you a better brake feel. If you have ABS, it needs to be disabled. When it comes to suspension, the shocks and the springs are all set out. You need to use KYB shocks, and the springs then need to be G-Max or Sparks, whatever. The exact springs to use are outlined in the regulations. When it comes to exterior then, you need toe straps, you need to have your bonnet and boot latches. They're all self-explanatory. The toe straps have to be straps. You cannot use the metal ones that you would have got with the car. These are just, they're bashing each other in the back. Yeah, it's just going to cause a lot of damage. Minimum weight of the car at the end of it then needs to be 940 kilos. This is including the driver. Keep an eye on that. Know the weight of your car. Unlike my first day. 7 kilos underweight.
You're 5 kgs on that, 6 kgs on that. 6 kgs on that.
So that's basically it for the car. As I said, like, it's all production thing, mainly all safety things, and then all suspension and stuff like that is just there to keep things equal, that everyone is running roughly the same thing. If there is anything I left out, or if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me on Facebook or in the comments on YouTube. Feel free to get in contact, and we hope to see you in Mondello soon. Bye.